Well, Don, good evening. Cattaraugus County District Attorney Lori Riemann was ordered by a judge back in February to reinvestigate the treatment of Richard Metcalf Jr. here at the Erie County Holding Center downtown. And although Riemann's office told me this morning that she would not be making a statement on this case until sometime next week, she did issue a statement late this afternoon saying that while she believed there was no criminal wrongdoing in the corrections officers who were forced to subdue Richard Metcalf, she did believe that the death of Richard Metcalf was completely preventable. Richard Metcalf Jr. was brought to the holding center in late November of 2012 after being arrested in Depew for breaking and entering. His behavior was erratic, and it continued when he was booked into custody downtown. County corrections officers later told investigators they used force to subdue the 35-year-old, but that force would prove lethal, according to the State Commission on Corrections. Metcalf was left with broken ribs, bruises all over his body, and a spit mask and pillowcase that were tied so tightly around his neck, the state ruled that his death was caused by those restraint methods used by the deputies. An Erie County judge in February ordered the case to be reinvestigated by Cattaraugus County DA Lori Riemann, whose decision today fell in line with the 2014 investigation by New York State Police that county corrections officers committed no crime.
I professionally disagree with her evaluation and assessment. I truly believe there should have been criminal charges filed in this case.
Attorney Thomas Casey and attorneys from Brown Chiari represent Metcalf's family. Casey says he appreciates the opportunity to meet with Riemann, but Casey says he can't understand why she failed to meet with corrections officers or with any of the medical personnel who cared for Metcalf in his final days.
She basically said that for some of the people that I've mentioned, she had their statements already, and it wasn't necessary for them to meet with them again.
Although Riemann hasn't returned multiple calls for comment, she issued statements late today calling for change, and she called out the holding center. She says there were multiple junctures at which proper intervention could have prevented his ultimate and horrible death. She goes on to say, I certainly hope what happened to Mr. Metcalf will prompt serious changes at the holding center, even if it is as a result of a public civil trial and subsequent finding of civil negligence. Now, in the time that it took Lori Riemann to issue her decision, again, we're talking about 10 months. She allowed the statute of limitations to expire on 2 charges that could have been likely in this case, and that is criminally negligent homicide as well as manslaughter. Meanwhile, this case will move forward on behalf of Richard Metcalf Jr. However, it will move forward only in a civil court, and that is expected to begin to take place early next year. Reporting live in a very snowy downtown Buffalo, Dave Graber, News 4 at 6.
All right.